Hi, this is Brendan from 12 Gigs in 12 Months, and on the 6th of May 2026, I went to the Princess Theatre in Brisbane and saw public service broadcasting. This is an insight into how I experienced the gig. Public service broadcasting can best be described as a blend of driving post-rock instrumentation with electronic beats, archival voice samples, and cinematic textures. The band combined live music with samples from old public information films, radio broadcasts, documentaries, newsreels, and other archival recordings. Rather than just relying on conventional singing, historical voices often tell the story. The band's stated aim is essentially to use modern music to bring stories and lessons from the past to new audiences. The catchphrase used for public service broadcasting is inform, educate, and entertain. This mission statement was originally defined by John Reith, the first Director General of the BBC in the 1920s. Public service broadcasting formed in South London in 2009, initially as a solo project by multi-instrumentalist J. Wilgoose Esquire. His first public performance under the name took place at the Selkirk pub in Tooting. Drummer Wrigglesworth joined soon afterwards, and his performance on the kit was one of the highlights of the gig. Wilgoose performs on guitar, banjo, strings, keyboards, samples, and electronics, while Wrigglesworth provides drums, piano, and electronics. J.F. Abraham, who had previously contributed as a session musician, officially joined in 2016, adding instruments including bass guitar and flugelhorn. Mr. B contributes to the visual presentation and set design that are important features of their live performances. Not only do the band members have quirky names, but their outfits look like a homage to Graham Garden from the Goodies, best described as eccentric, intellectual, slightly bohemian, and very 1970s British. At times during the gig, I found myself drawn to what I was seeing on the big screen at the back of the stage as much as what I was hearing. Another impressive aspect was how tightly the band synchronized the programmed elements with the live performance. It's clear a huge amount of work has gone into ensuring that the samples, visuals, and electronic components align seamlessly with the live instrumentation. Nothing felt out of place, the songs could breathe, and the result was a performance that felt both technically polished and organic at the same time. The music explores major historical events and achievements, including the Second World War, the 1953 conquest of Mount Everest, the space race, the decline of the Welsh coal industry, and the final flight of Amelia Earhart. The song People Will Always Need Coal, from the band's third studio album Every Valley, released in 2017, uses an optimistic 1970s National Coal Board recruitment film that presented coal mining as a secure, well-paid career with a strong future. The title became tragically ironic. During the 1980s, Britain's coal industry declined dramatically, culminating in the bitter 1984-85 miners' strike and widespread pit closures. Thousands of miners lost their jobs, particularly in South Wales, where entire communities had been built around coal mining. The closures affected far more than employment. They damaged local economies, community identity, and social cohesion. The song Everest uses archival spoken word material from the 1953 British Mount Everest expedition, when Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay became the first climbers confirmed to have reached the summit. My reflection on this song was how challenging climbing Mount Everest must have been in 1953. Climbers had far less sophisticated equipment than we see today. Clothing, boots, tents, and oxygen systems were heavier and less efficient. While weather forecasting was limited, There were no satellite phones, GPS devices, drones, or modern emergency communications systems. Despite the enormous challenges and risks of climbing Mount Everest, people were still driven to reach its summit. Edmund Hillary is quoted as saying, "It is not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves." This same theme appears in Public Service Broadcasting's song about the space race and the journey to the moon. Despite danger, uncertainty, and seemingly impossible obstacles, humans have an enduring desire to explore, push boundaries, and achieve what was once thought impossible. The song Gagarin shows imagery of Soviet cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin, who became the first human to travel into space. On 12 April 1961, aged 27, he launched aboard Vostok 1 and completed a single orbit of Earth in a flight lasting about 108 minutes. His achievement was a major milestone in the space race between the Soviet Union and the United States and demonstrated that humans could survive spaceflight. Gagarin became an international celebrity and a symbol of Soviet space achievement. He never flew in space again and died in 1968, aged 34, when a training aircraft he was piloting crashed. His life reflects how success, ambition, hardship, and vulnerability can exist together. The final song I want to highlight is Towards the Dawn from The Last Flight 2024. This was a standout for me during the set, built around the story of Amelia Earhart and her Lockheed aircraft. Hearing her voice woven into the track alongside the visuals reinforced just how much of a trailblazer she was. Fearless, pioneering, and incredibly inspiring, especially in an era where that path was far from easy for women. What struck me most is how rare it is to see music with such a strong educational component. It reminded me of bands like Midnight Oil, who use their platform to expose listeners to social and environmental issues. Public service broadcasting achieved something similar, but through a very different medium, blending sound, history, and visuals into something that is both engaging and thought-provoking. I think public service broadcasting achieved their goal to inform, educate, and entertain. The gig was fun, unpretentious, and grounded. It was interesting to experience their carefully constructed songs, blending historical voices and modern music to explore themes of achievement, technology, conflict, change, and the human experience.